All right. So I'm going to talk about the real estate market. So it's part of my, people when they are in conventional paths, I'm going to specifically talk about Toby Matthias and people like that. You should watch Toby Matthias. And he says, we should, he shared that he says that we should look poor, act poor, live poor. Pretty much in line with the rich dad, poor dad. So when a person has this way of conducting that they live poor, especially like Toby Matthias, if they live poor, act poor, and they look poor, then I'm telling you one thing, guys, they are probably poor. They are probably actually poor. They do not know that, but they do not know that. So let me tell you some interesting cycle of real estate in which Toby Matthias and so many other people like him get trapped. Okay. So what happens is, let's say you earn $150,000 per year. Okay. Then you pay taxes on it and you get $100,000 in your hand. From that, you do your expenses. Agreed? Once you do your expenses, you save $50,000. You save it for 4-5 years, you have $250,000 now. What you do is you invest it. You invest it in real estate. You buy real estate worth, let's say, a multifamily for, let's say, $1 million, and then you rent it out. Okay? Apparently, you have some. So there are two strategies. This is typically the case, especially in single residence. Let me talk about single family residence more, like even in multifamily numbers will be similar. It's very hard to get 12% returns on single family. You probably would, you will be basically having, 6 to 7% return, which is less than the interest rate. So you'll be having bigger mortgage than the interest rate, than the rent payment. Then the rent that you will get. Okay, so your rent that you will get will be lesser, and your mortgage will be bigger. So this is one strategy. Second strategy is you have $250,000, you buy $250,000 worth of house, and then you get the rent, and then the price, and right now. So let's call first one as leverage, second one is not leveraged. Right? In the first one, when the price of the property goes from 1 million to, let's say, 30, which increases by 25%, it becomes 1.25 million. That's when you have a lot of equity. So that's the game of equity. You increase the equity. You're not getting that monthly rent, but your equity will be, you will be building equity. Okay, that's one. In the second one, when you're not leveraging, you will be getting the monthly income. Okay, you'll be getting the monthly income. Typically, people go with the first one, and they have 20% equity. So then, right, then two things may happen when they build 20% equity. They may take it out and buy another property. Right? Because you need down payment of 200,000, right? So now, after that, you keep on doing that, maybe 2 years, second year, third year, fourth year, you basically keep on buying. Let's say you have now $4 million worth of houses, in which your equity is now almost, right, more than 20%, because every time you got the equity, you took it out. Remember? So you have about 800,000 worth of equity. So you built equity. Now your net worth is 800,000. Remember, at this point, you have not gotten anything in your pocket. So you are poor. You are poor. You are working on equity. Your original $250,000 investment has become multifold. But then you also know the risks. Let me tell you one risk that you guys all know. Now let's say on one day there is a hit in the property market and it reduces by 20%. From 4 million, your portfolio becomes 3.2 million. But remember, what is the value of your equity now? Tell me, guys. Tell me. Do the maths. It's zero. How much it is? It's zero. So they know this risk. That's the reason they are not able to use that equity. They are not able to. They know the risk. They are never able to spend that money. Let's say I know that I have 800,000 of net worth. Can I just spend everything that I have? Answer is no, because I know who knows when I'll become zero, as far as my net worth is concerned, right? So they know these issues. And that's the reason they're not able to ever have, they would never be able to have the confidence to spend the money that they could be having from other sources. They basically, let's say, is a job and now he has equity in these houses. This is the reason he would stay poor. And one day what will happen is, this is another thing I'm telling you, one day what will happen is the capitalist economy is there, right? It has ups and downs. Right now, real estate market is high, 2024. So you see like people like Toby Matthias really talking very highly of all these things. But basically, in 2020, when the market was down, they were mum. In the 2023, when the market was down from the high, they were again mum, silent. Now in 2024, it has inched up they are again speaking. So this is their confidence keeps going up and down, but they will never be able to spend that money. Do you notice when the equity was there, they could not spend? Now when the equity is not there, they cannot spend. When their equity is gone, they cannot spend. And when at the right, so let's say a person is very smart, and when he has equity of 800,000, he decides to quit. Right? He wants to quit the real estate market. These are the thoughts which come to their mind. One is, my money is, they will have to pay taxes, capital gains taxes. In California, it is around 35%. Total is 21%. Long-term capital gains is 20% or something. In California, long-term capital gains is also another 14-15%. So it's about 34-35%. So you one by third. And plus, when they sell, they have to pay the fees also, agent fees, etc. also. Okay. Now, having said all these things, they are looking at a loss of around 37 to 40%. So they feel that on one side, my money is invested in a real estate asset which may go up, not today, in 5 years, 10 years. So they would never be able to sell. Second, if I take it out, then 40% will be lost, and then I'll be having money with me. Then what will I do with the money? They have lost that mindset of using the money to live a good life, because they lived for so many years without a good life, right? So that is what happens. So trust me, they will not be able to sell. And one day, capitalists will look at it, they have the data, they know how much is the ownership and all that stuff. One day, the market will go down and they'll lose all the equity. One more thing happens when the market goes down. Sometimes the rental yield also goes down. So then that will break your bone and you will not be able to hold this thing. How many people how many investors are able to hold their Bay Area homes and Tracy homes and Sacramento homes and Folsom homes in India, in USA? No, during this, because they know that it goes down, they don't know how, because it goes down by 40%, 50%, their equities, they're less. So Obama, one more thing I'm telling you, you should check, you should Google. Obama gave a very interesting offer to everybody. So one very interesting rule is, first of all, you should know the rule. When let's say your equity was 20%, right? Let's say the value of the home goes down to, let's say, even further down. Let's say total value is 2.5. So now you have to, there is a hit of 700K. But here's a very interesting thing. If you surrender that property, then you have to pay taxes on 700K. Did you know this? Yeah, you have to pay taxes on that 700K. Whatever depreciation you took, you have to give depreciation recapture tax. That is a different story. Forget it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about you just have to pay the income tax or something on those 700K. Yeah, it is separate. If you took the depreciation, the book value of the property is less than 2.5, then you have to pay taxes on that for sure. But then if you let's say the book value of the property is 2.5 and you sold it 2.5, still you will have to pay the tax on 700K. Did you know this? So Obama gave a rule in 2010, very interesting. He passed a law, he passed an act or something, that if you surrender the property, the 700K will be, you don't have to pay taxes on it. Yeah. There were record surrenders. I'm telling you, as an investor, you should, by the way, you should, as a strategy. People like Toby Matthias, they don't know what they're dealing with. So when they say that, and by the way, one more thing. Remember how it all started? Your own personal income, after tax income went into all this. So basically they are left with no money. Remember the original down payment? 200K. So all these years, 200K became 800K, and then they lost everything. Or even if they didn't lose it, they have to keep invested. They cannot spell it. Remember the 200. So now let's evaluate that in detail. They had 200K. They could spend it, but they didn't do it. They made it 800K. Great. But can they spend it now? They cannot spend it. How will they spend it? This is the reason many of these people, like Minority Report, you should Google Minority Report YouTube channel and Toby Matthias YouTube channel. Both the guys, I'm telling you one thing about them. They are acting, they look poor, they act poor, they live poor because they are poor. This net worth will never come back and ever help you. You will never be able to exit your positions. This is the right word, right? They will never be able to exit your positions. They will never be able to capitalize these gains. They will not be able to capitalize on these gains. It will never come back and add to their lifestyle and this thing and do anything good to them. They will not be able to convert it. If they're very smart, they'll be able to do something with it. I know what they can do. They can convert it into rental. They can convert it somehow into running income. They can go, but then there is a like kind property rule. At that they're looking at a lot of work. This is another thing. If they, let's say, want to change the portfolio from single family residences to multifamily, and it may, I don't know whether it qualifies like kind. They have to do the research themselves. But if it does, then your gain, the multifamily doesn't go down as much. Remember. So you should know which property types do not go down as much, and which will be eligible for 1031 like kind of exchange. So you go into those properties, and then you basically, when the market is going to go down, then you basically start to make money on a running basis, and that's the way you can convert your your equity into running income. Okay, that's the right thing to do. So that running income, but then if they do that, sometimes they feel that they should stay leveraged, they should not convert into running. Remember the original thing. This gets too confusing for them, and all these things, any strategy requires a lot of work. I know one guy who converted all his equity everywhere into a hotel, and now he owns a hotel. So not a bad idea. He makes a lot of money on the hotel, right? So that's that, but then he paid taxes on it, obviously, on that running money. And obviously, right, it's one hotel, he's fully paid, so it's not going, it's not leveraged. So he cannot have 10 hotels. He doesn't have 10 hotels. He's only one hotel. So even if the value goes up, he doesn't really make as much money, because in one property, how much the value go up, right? But anyway, even if it goes up, then that's just one property, right? It could potentially be 10 properties. That's the point. So anyway, so basically there are strategies to convert it into this thing, but then they need to have a lot of experience for that. It's a very interesting strategy. It requires patience, and over 10-15 years of your prime age, it requires some kind of analysis and patience and strategy and knowledge and staying in the market and all these things. That's the reason these guys are never able to capitalize those gains, and then they keep living a impoverished, penurious life. Yes. So my simple thing is, if they look poor, if they act poor, if they live poor, that's because Toby Matthias and Minority Report guy are actually poor. All right. Thank you, guys.